Hi everyone, Kim here at Olive City Homestead, and this is why I haven't done a garden video tour this past week. Every day I wake up thinking, I'll have a voice today, but no, I don't. It's windy out here. It's been windy for days and days, and that's always an annoying thing to me anyway. I know my kids love the wind, but for me, I just see the wind blowing all my flowers around and drying out my plants. And when I have a cold like this, for some reason it really irritates me. But hopefully the wind is bringing a change in weather and we'll be getting some rain soon. Anyway, I'm doing this video just to let you know what's going on. And perhaps I'll show you a few things that are going on just to tide you over and to tide me over until I can do a proper video in a few days when I have a voice again. The bearded irises that I planted all over the property after dividing them up a year ago in the spring when you're not supposed to divide them are blooming. They've been blooming for 2 weeks. They're not blooming all at once. They're taking their turns very politely. These are the ones I planted in containers that I didn't even think had a chance of surviving, and they've done very well. And where the pool used to be, and soon will be my new growing grounds, I've decided. The irises I planted out have been blooming, and they're still blooming, even though the wind has blown a lot of them sideways. They're hanging in there. I'm really happy with how they did. I knew these would do fine, at least by this spring. And yeah, they did not bloom last spring. They've been blooming gorgeously since mid-March, and that is everywhere that I planted them. Yes, evidence of a burn pile there. Burned a ton of prunings, I guess you'd say. We kept a lot, believe me. We have a lot of firewood, a lot of kindling, a lot of compost, but there was just too much. When you live on a property this size with as many trees as I have, mulberries, they get huge very quickly. You end up needing to occasionally do some burning. And this is the spot where my greenhouse is going to go, right next to my growing beds, where I'm going to be planting hundreds of runners of easy to propagate plants. That's a new plan for me, and I'm pretty excited about it. Meanwhile, I am enjoying these irises despite the weeds and grass around that needs to be pulled out and mowed. Right there, more destruction. I need to replace the rest of my fence. Half of it's been replaced and half of it hasn't. And that treehouse had to come down. So there's about a fifth of it left up in the tree and about a third of it on the ground there that I need to move out. And then we can get to clearing the ground there and putting in the new runner beds. Even this group of bearded irises is about to bloom. Right there. And there you can see, yep, gonna have some blooms here. This is the set of throwaway rhizomes that at the end of that last video about the bearded irises last February, the very end of the video, I showed this handful of little tiny rhizome, spare parts, I guess you'd call it. They just really looked like they were not gonna do anything, but being the experimenter I am, I stuck them in the ground anyway, and I'd say at least 2/3 of them have come up, and I think they're all gonna do just fine. Right, girls? So the pink variegated lemon is doing fabulous. If you look back at the video where the last windstorm broke it completely, it has come back so incredibly and now is blooming beautifully. hoping that I will get some fruit this year. Even this branch here that I wasn't sure was going to come back after a late cold spell is now sending out leaves. Yeah, this has just done so well. And, as low as it broke off, if you watch that other video, you'll see it broke off right in the graft way down there. And it just was shocking. I had faith, but not many other people did, that it would come back. But it did. Stronger than ever. One of the other experiments I did this year was digging up these volunteer roses. These roses came up from rootstock that had been left in the ground unintentionally when I moved very large rose bushes from my backyard to my front yard. I thought I got all of the root ball out, and they're growing beautifully now, a few years later. But ever since I did that transplant several years ago, I have had constant volunteers of little rose stems coming up, little rose bush stems. And I realize they're from the rootstock, not the grafted variety, but still, I couldn't help but give them a chance. And now they're all blooming. And yes, they're what I call wild roses, but I love them. And I have them everywhere. Everywhere I planted them, they grew, and now they're blooming. I have so many of them now that I've decided I'm going to plant them along my future front property wire fence to be a rose hedgerow, I guess you'd call it. A secondary fence of roses. That will be beautiful. And I have a never-ending supply apparently because there's still continually in that spot of my backyard more volunteers coming up. Speaking of volunteers, the borage plants continue to blossom and spread. They're everywhere. Dozens and dozens of them. Of course, the bees love the borage. And it's one of the main reasons I grow borage. Not the only one, though. There's lots of good reasons to grow borage. And of course, everyone should grow Mexican poppies because A, they're so beautiful, and B, they spread like crazy with no effort at all on your part. See what I mean? This all started from one 4-inch pot. And they're super easy to pull up and plop into a pot and grow and transplant. Whoops, they're spreading up here too. That is the one problem, is that they will take over if you let them. So I need to get on my game. Take those out of here, put them somewhere else. wish you could smell this azalea. It's amazing. My dad just gave this to me a few days ago, and I still have to figure out where I'm planting it. But boy, does it smell and look beautiful. My roses need a lot of pruning because I haven't been out here to give them any attention in 2 weeks. But despite that, they continue to bloom beautifully. I see grapes in my future. Lots and lots of grapes. So thanks for joining me today, everyone, for this brief video. I know it was probably difficult to listen to, but I did want to touch base with you, and I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the fun things that I've got going on, some of the experiments that have turned out really well. And I will be back again very soon, I promise. So will my voice. And remember, you can create the life you want, so why not start right now, even if you don't have a voice? Because the secret is, you always have a voice. See you next time, everyone.